Up until I started my e-commerce business, I had no experience as an entrepreneur. I followed a pretty straight edge path of high school, college, and then trying to get my hands on the best job I could get. Despite this, I still had elements of an entrepreneurial mindset without even realizing it. Now that I've had a lot more experience building my own business from the ground and interacting with a fair share of both successful and unsuccessful entrepreneurs, I've made some key observations on the differences between entrepreneurs, especially the successful ones, and everyone else. E-commerce is a form of entrepreneurship. And if you're able to build a strong entrepreneurial mindset, it will dramatically improve your odds of thriving in this space. Here are some key differences between the mindset of successful entrepreneurs and your typical 9-to-5 employee, who I may add could be just as intelligent and hardworking as the entrepreneur. Difference number one, entrepreneurs don't think about financial reward and value as a linear function of time. What have we been trained to do since we were very young? Think about it. Life's rewards are directly correlated with time. This is what you're taught. You want a good grade on a test? Study more hours and memorize more concepts. You want to earn more money? Spend more time working because you're locked into dollars per hour. Entrepreneurship is a completely different beast. I've learned very quickly that the best entrepreneurs are not the ones that are spending the most hours working every day, but they're the ones that are able to find ways to maximize the output of their time. While the 9-to-5 worker is stuck in a cycle of trying to think of more ways they can take time from the rest of their lives to devote to their job to make more money since they're trading time for a reward, the entrepreneur is thinking about ways to build something that will generate value even while they're not working. It doesn't mean that the entrepreneur is working less hours because trust me, I've put in my fair share of hours and you will too. It just means the entrepreneur is spending time and energy to plant a seed that can grow into a tree that provides fruit for a very long time while the 9-to-5 worker is picking fruit from trees all day. One of the things that I will echo over and over again is for you to become addicted to freeing up your own time and to focus that time only on the highest value activities. This is a principle that you need to burn in the back of your head as you progress through this course. Think about what you're spending your time doing each and every day. Number two, entrepreneurs are willing to work hard without a guarantee of a tangible reward. I graduated from Vanderbilt with a degree in economics. I can't say I used much of what I learned in the classroom today, but there was one lesson that really stood out to me. There's no such thing as a free lunch. It allowed me to approach the world with more skepticism and rationality than most people. Get rich quick without having to work hard sounds like something too good to be true and probably illegal. I hate to break it to you guys, but this isn't a get rich quick without working hard course. You're gonna work very, very hard and experience some very, very tough moments. While I was working in the corporate world, I was always curious about one thing. For those of you that don't know, what a management consulting firm like McKinsey specializes in is advising leaders in business and government. It's a place that boasts an acceptance rate that's 2 times more competitive than Harvard and almost solely recruits from the top schools in the world. I can confidently say that my managers, directors, and other coworkers were some of the most educated, intelligent, and hardworking people in the entire world. Something that always puzzled me was what separated my McKinsey coworkers from the clients that they advised. Many who were younger founders of notable companies. Why did my McKinsey manager, who graduated from Harvard and had an MBA from Wharton, make many times less than this youngster who dropped out of high school and I could tell was not my manager's intellectual superior? Then I realized the truth. Entrepreneurs are rewarded with a premium on the risk that they take. What do you get out of a job? Security. You know that if you spend X amount of time, then you're guaranteed to get Y reward. What do you risk as an entrepreneur? That you can spend hours of effort, a bunch of energy, and even a bunch of money and get nothing tangible out of it. That's why at 23, I make more money than some of the most high-ranking members of McKinsey. I'm rewarded because I was willing to take a massive risk that they're not willing to take. I guarantee you now that you will experience failure. Everyone does. I certainly did. Even now, I still fail a lot more than I succeed. Learning to work hard without a guarantee of a tangible reward is an important mindset to have. If the average 9-to-5 worker put in 100 hours of their time and their boss told them, hey, we're not going to pay you for it, they'd storm out in anger and quit. This will happen time and time again to you as an entrepreneur. So it's time to shift your mindset to learn from failure and treat it as a blessing and a reward even when you get no monetary results, because it's a learning experience. I can immediately recognize who's going to succeed or fail in e-commerce based on how they react to the first failed website or concept. The ones that are defeated, deflated, or even angry that they just didn't stumble upon millions for their hard work are the ones that will fail. The ones that internalize the learning and are more eager than ever to move on to the next concept are the ones that will succeed. Look inside yourself and ask yourself, which one are you? Number 3, entrepreneurs are proactive and resourceful. A word that's frequently used in the e-commerce and entrepreneurial community is hustle. I actually really like that word. It implies a level of scrappiness in the face of unknowns and obstacles. Just by the fact that you have access to this course, you're already leagues above when I first started with e-commerce. I'm going to impart you with everything that I know from a knowledge perspective, but I will never be able to teach you how to be resourceful and proactive. If you were thinking you get a step-by-step guide that you just follow, watch every single video, at the end of it all, you just be gifted $1 million from the heavens, then you're dreaming. Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. While the average 9-to-5 worker can turn to a manager or a boss when they're confused and stuck, the entrepreneur has to get scrappy. In a weird way, every new business venture is an attempt at solving problems that the world has never solved before. Sure, someone like me can give you advice based on my experience, but at the end of the day, it's just advice. There's no 100% answers. You need to be resourceful and proactive. If there's a gap in something that I discuss, go and try to find the answer yourself. If you can think of a better way of doing something than even I covered, go out there and put it to the test. Remember, I didn't have any course or mentor or coach when I started, but I was extremely resourceful. When I was too broke to afford an accountant to calculate profits, I learned Excel through YouTube and built my own cash flow model. When I didn't know how to make my first advertisement or creative, I spent hours watching YouTube courses on Photoshop so I could learn how to bring my visualization to life. You guys have the luxury of having me as a coach, mentor, and a support resource. This doesn't mean that you get a pass to not use your brain. Before you reach out to me or anyone else in the community for help, try to find your own answer through research or taking the time to think through your options. I can often tell who is going to succeed and fail just by the type of questions they ask and how they ask them. Meet student A. His Facebook ad performance hasn't been too hot, and he asked me, Kevin, my performance on Ad Manager has declined. What do I do? Please help, I'm really worried. Now person B, he is facing the same problem but reaches out and says, Kevin, my performance on Ad Manager has declined, and I've noticed that it started around 3 days ago or so. I also noticed that my CTR has declined and my frequency has gone up, so it's probably due to creative fatigue or audience fatigue. I'm thinking I should expand my creatives and targeting. What do you think I should do? I want to make sure I'm thinking about this problem in the right way. 11 times out of 10, person B will be successful in this space and in anything he or she decides to pursue as an entrepreneur. That's an example of being proactive and resourceful. Person A is expecting to be handheld to success, while person B is just looking for guidance on a problem that he or she has already spent a lot of time and effort trying to solve. Number 4, entrepreneurs are action-oriented. People ask me all the time when the best time is to start their first e-commerce business, or if they're at a stage of life that's good for entrepreneurship. If you have at least $3,000 in the bank, the answer is yesterday. The best time to start your business was yesterday, and the next best time is today. Now, this might sound a little extreme, but I'm trying to emphasize an important point. Good today is always, and I mean always, better than the possibility of great in another time. The faster you can test a concept or a hypothesis, the earlier you get results from the market that will inform you on what you should do next. There will be those of you that start the first few lessons of this course and think, wow, this is great, but I'm gonna revisit this when I'm more ready and when things feel right. That sounds good, and you should work at your own pace. But just know that every day you decide to take it easy or decide to put your idea on the table for later, there's someone else that has their head to the pavement that's fighting so they can live your dreams while you keep dreaming. The 9-to-5 worker can afford to be passive because regardless of what he or she does today or tomorrow, as long as they eventually complete a task on a timeline that appeases their boss, it's okay. Either way, they're basically going to make the same amount of money and get the same reward. Life is different for people like you and I. We don't have a ceiling to our potential, and every sleepless night to make sure our idea gets out there earlier is a step closer to achieving our wildest goals. Every time we decide to wait and trust to do it another time, it's a day for someone out there to come along and gobble a piece of the market and show their advertisements to a would-be customer before we do. Number 5, entrepreneurs have an obsessive ownership mentality. This one might sound silly, and I'm not suggesting that your 9-to-5 worker can't be passionate about his or her job or feel a sense of ownership in their company. I've noticed that the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones that become obsessed with what they're doing and what they're working on, and have a strong sense of ownership in the success and failure of their business. Because as a 9-to-5 worker, you can afford to show up to work sometimes feeling lackluster and not really caring, because chances are there's someone else within your company that cares more about it than you, like your manager, the CEO, or the owner. And it makes sense. They're extracting more value from the business than you are. They should care more. It's different when you're an entrepreneur and a business owner. I can guarantee you right now that no one will care about your business more than you do. The days you work on your business with a lackluster attitude will also lead to lackluster results. The ones that succeed with e-commerce are the ones that learn to love it, becomes obsessed with it, and even when the times are bad. I remember when I first started e-commerce, I felt like I couldn't get enough of it. I didn't want to hang out with my family or my friends. Honestly, the prettiest girl could walk by and I wouldn't even bat my eyes because there's no sexier curves than the sales curves on my screen. I was obsessed even though I wasn't making any money. You guys can count on me to always keep it real, and I'm going to be upfront and honest about something. There's a bunch of different ways out there for you to make a fortune. Whether it's trading stocks, real estate, or even putting a ball in a hoop, this isn't the only path to success and fulfillment. Since you're committing to e-commerce, I want you to make sure this is really what you want to do and is something that excites you. Even today, I get butterflies and feel like a little boy before Christmas when I launch a new product or craft a new ad strategy. I can barely sleep just thinking about how it'll do. When your business doesn't do well, it should hurt. When you make a mistake, it should hurt. It should feel like the world is kicking you in the face. The days you want your business to succeed more than anything else, and you can't imagine many other things that are more important than your business's success, that's the day the results will finally start to come. Regardless of the success that I've experienced, it's still the attitude and how I feel every single day. So these were 5 essential mindset shifts that I want you to think about and embrace. These things, more than anything else, will be the fuel for your success in e-commerce. I want you to do some meditating and deep thinking today. I want you to write down the mindset shifts that you think you'll have to make and have the most problem executing, and then take some purposeful steps to incorporating these mindsets into your life. When I first started, I struggled with some of these traits as well. It takes time and effort to change the way you approach your business and your life. But these changes are the ones that are gonna help you accomplish incredible things.